You watching TGT In The Moment. It's your boy 2.0. Hey, what's going on, good people? This your boy 2.0, man. I am a gospel rapper, Christian rapper, artist, whatever you want to call it, man. I make music with a message of biblical principles and all that good stuff. But I love God, and I just try to put my real life into music, man. What got me into rapping, man, to be honest with you, like when I got saved, man, I wasn't never really thinking about music, you know what I'm saying, like that growing up. I ain't grow up wanting to be a rapper. I wasn't a kid at high school beating on the table and rapping all the time. I was goofy, you know what I mean? I was the class clown or the school clown. So when I got saved, man, I felt like people always listen to me. You know what I'm saying? I always been the influential type, you know what I mean? So like when I make jokes, they hit, but like a Dave Chappelle joke, it's like, but he right though. It be some truth to it. And while folks laughing, they be like, man, he said what everybody thinking, but nobody else had the courage to say. You know what I'm saying? And so I felt like God wanted me to put that in the music because it wasn't a whole lot of music on the gospel side like that. So that's one thing led to another. And through God's spirit, man, it just kind of kept evolving and got me to where I am right now. Man, it's probably been like 10 years, man. Probably been like 10 years now. So like, yeah, like 2011 when I kind of like started taking it serious. No, so it's funny. Like I always been close enough to know who God was and to have an idea about Jesus, but I wasn't like really in church. You know what I'm saying? Until like I gave my life to Christ at 19. I went to Morehouse College, and a girl I was dating, she gave her life to Christ, and she called me crying. She was like, "Man, God told me to give up everything, and it was easy, but he told me to give you up too." I laughed. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, man, you know what? I ain't gonna stand between you and Jesus. I was like, man, if I lose a girl to Jesus, I think I'm still winning. You know what I'm saying? But after I got off the phone with her, it was like, what's wrong with me that God would want her to break up with me if it was real? You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did my dirt, but I wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? If I hit a lick or something I stole, it was kind of like, either I felt justified some kind of way, or like it wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Or like I'm at the club and bullets flying and I'm ducking. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Angels cover me, but at the same time, I put myself in a situation to need that kind of protection. So anyway, that night, man, I was like, God, if it's more to you, then show me. If you real. And that night, man, I believe Jesus came to my room, man, and it was this bright presence. I can't really explain it, but I just know I ain't never been the same since. Only thing I knew to do was like to try to pray and to read the Bible, and it was like a cycle. Like I'll pray, read the Bible, fall asleep. Now I'll pray, read the Bible, fall asleep, and when I woke up, man, it was like I had the glow or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I just ain't never been the same. So it wasn't cause of church. I ain't even have a church home until like maybe 4 or 5 months after that. You know what I'm saying? When I went to church, but it was like I just did it because I thought that's what you're supposed to do if you're a Christian or whatnot. But then when I linked up with this church, I don't know, I felt what I felt in my alone time with God. You know what I'm saying? Like my connection was direct. I felt like it was personal. You know what I'm saying? So like my first time really being introduced to church was after I'd already met Jesus, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So it was like every church I went into, I measured by what it was like when it was just me and God alone. And if I ain't feel that, I left. But this was like the first church or the only ministry that I've been to that I felt God like that every single time I went. So I kept coming and I joined. And I've been here ever since. True believer, man, I would say try God. Like, don't take your pastor word for it. Don't take your mama word for it. Don't take your brother, sister, cousin, best friend, auntie word for it. Try God for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't the kind of thing that you can do based off of somebody else's experiences and somebody else's word. You know what I'm saying? Like God is real, and you got to kind of put his word to the test. Now we believe that the Bible is his word, or at least some of it. You know what I'm saying? But try them things. Like I used to read scriptures before I started going to church like that. I used to read scriptures and I'd be like, well, let me go ahead and try this. You know what I'm saying? If faith is dead without works, or something was like, I seen a miracle in the Bible. Then it was like, okay, well, shoot, if you did it for them and this is what you do, then try me. I mean, can you look out for your boy? Can you do that for me too? And God will keep coming through over and over and over again, man. So try God on your own, man. The stuff that you hear in church is to reinforce your individual and your personal faith. You know what I'm saying? The things that you find out that God doing for you one on one. This is to reinforce that. It's not always to introduce it. Man, I see first I don't want to limit it to just rapping because I also produce and engineer. And like do products like on some Diddy type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Y'all hear the song Lion of the Lamb, I produced that and I wrote it. The hook and everything except for the first verse, which got monologue, get his own. Yeah. But where I see it taking me, man, is pretty much, man, like to a Diddy like, you know what I'm saying, situation. Like the label that me and my brother from TNT started, it's called Red/Culture. And so basically the idea is like to be a multimedia group and not necessarily to make everything churchy, but to present what's relevant to our culture under the blood of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So it takes everything, multimedia, whether it's plays, music, videos, clothing, you know what I'm saying, commercials, all of that stuff, but with a godly perspective, a conscience behind it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just under the blood of Jesus. So it's like I see it being a leader and almost representing the church to the world. And being honored to be at the forefront of that, man, and not necessarily being like the king of the world, but at the same time being very influential, man, and just helping people get to know God in a better way, in a more pure way. I think integrity sets me apart from other artists, man. Not that nobody else has integrity, but like, man, I really try I really just don't talk about things that's not real to me. You know what I'm saying? So the same person you meet, you know what I'm saying, face to face is gonna be the same person that you meet through the music. It's gonna be the same person that you see in church. It's gonna be the same person that you see in the club at an open mic or a performance somewhere. Like wherever you see me, wherever, I'm the same me. And I think that's one thing that Christians and especially people who are like deep in church and, you know, devout about their faith is like, I think we get it wrong, is that we try to change. So we try to hide parts of ourselves to make ourselves look like a better Christian. And the reality of it is, man, the more you give to God, the more God you look like. The more you look like God, you know what I'm saying? The more he can affect those areas that don't look like him. You know what I'm saying? So integrity is the biggest thing for me, man. Just trying to be the same person everywhere. There's no 2.0 to artists. There's no 2.0 to rapper. There's no 2.0 to minister. There's no 2.0, none of that. All of those make up who 2.0 is. Yeah, but it would have to be like, it got to make sense. Going back to that integrity bit, like, bro, like if I get on a song with like a J. Cole or something, it makes sense because everybody respects him for his consciousness. And then people respect me for the level of depth that I have too. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes sense perspective wise. But if I got with like an artist who only make strip club music, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense concept wise because we know you for this, but your moral, it doesn't agree with your morals. How do y'all connect? You know what I'm saying? We can have a conversation, but in order to present something together, that's a stretch. You know what I'm saying? So it just have to make sense as far as and be seem authentic. You know what I'm saying? And be something that can happen in real life. So that's the circumstances. I'm not close to working with anybody, but it just got to be authentic. You know what I'm saying? Statement, man. I felt like the songs that I was getting and that I've just been inspired to create were all powerful statements. You know what I'm saying? I got a song called Faith, self-explanatory. A song called Hungry. You know what I'm saying? It's about loyalty. You know what I'm saying? It's about loyalty. We got a song called The Apology. You know what I'm saying? All the songs make a very strong statement and kind of recreate what people thought Christians were, or what people thought folks who believe in Jesus and believe in God are. You know what I'm saying? And the statement is just a collection of statements, you know what I'm saying, that to change or readjust people's mind or mentality towards it. And also put them in a better place where they can receive God's statements. You know what I'm saying? You're above and not beneath, head and not the tail, first and not last. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff that God says, a lot of people can't receive it because the people giving it to them, they got conflicting, statements that they making with it. The apology. Um, the apology came from me seeing certain people turned away from church, man, and mishandled by church. I remember I was at a church, and I think somebody came in smelling like a pound of weed, and they were just handled wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody stopped them and tried to get them to, just looked at them funny, tried to get them to ask them where was they trying to go, and handled them like they was trying to steal. And they was like, man, I just came to see Jesus. Like I just came from doing my dirt. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be here. And it's like, man, like, don't nobody got a monopoly on God. Like, you can't tell folks they can't come in, and nobody said that, but it was like to treat people like you better than them because you've been here, and because we can't see the sin that you came out of. And then some, that, and then just seeing how many beautiful people and people who want God and sincerely got good hearts for God was run away from the church by the church. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to issue an apology because it seemed like it ain't a whole lot, ain't nobody else gonna make one. But like the things that church do don't always represent God. And just to kind of let people know, like I know church, we don't have the best reputation. But we apologize. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. That's why we all come to church. You know what I'm saying? But don't charge God for things that his people did. That's pretty much the whole apology statement. This year, man, goals getting knocked off and X'd off like early. You know what I'm saying? Linked up with the Coalition DJs. I don't know if y'all know, they like the gatekeepers for everything. I don't know. It don't matter if it's from the Migos down to Lucci, down to the Future, the Jeezy, all them people. So they opened up. I'll just say God has granted me a lot of favor, man, in that situation. And they started a branch that's just for Christians, or just for Christian music. You know what I'm saying? And I've been fortunate to be a part of that movement, man. And I've been waiting for like years to try to, you know what I'm saying, to try to get that kind of plug, man. February, I'll be at City Takers. Just found out I'm gonna be on the Willamore Jr. show with my song "The Lion of the Lamb." So those are things that I've had as goals, like towards the end of last year. Looking forward to it, man. God has blown my mind so much. It's tough to say. I know I definitely want to reach some more media outlets and expose the music a little bit more, man. Just to share the perspective. Like it ain't about me. It ain't about none of that stuff. I really just want to share the perspective. Because I don't hear it a lot in music. And it's something that I think a lot of people, especially our age or the millennials, like we want to see how this faith can be applied. You know what I mean? So just definitely gaining more exposure. And then as well as like just touching and working more as far as outreach is concerned. I've been working a lot with City Takers at the prison, Clayton County prison, getting more involved. Well, you can't get no more involved in that, but just staying down with that, doing a lot of stuff with the homeless, and just reaching and touching, man, getting involved in more schools. But my thing is just to have a further reach. By the end of this year, man, I'm looking for God to expand the reach of the things that he's given me. That's pretty much the goal. You know what I'm saying? Staying consistent, staying faithful, and just being a good steward over the things that God has given me. All right. Social media is at 2POINT0 TNT. That's at 2.0 TNT. On IG, on Facebook, on Twitter. On Twitter it's 2._TNT. You can book me at rsc.label@gmail.com. That's rsc.label@gmail.com.